The floor is yours.
Well, Minister Byrne, I will say what I said before. You're always pushed into these positions, and I feel somewhat sorry for you. But I mean, you're here and you do your best to answer the questions. I did expect at least that Minister Daly would be here. As the Castlerea has said, this is to do with the imminent closure of the Rosalie unit in Castlerea in County Roscommon. And I have to say, Minister, it's a rather sad evening for me here to have to get to my feet once again and discuss this issue. On many occasions, the Castlerea has allowed me to bring this up since I became a member of this House in 2016. And basically, to explain briefly to you what the Rosalie Centre was, it had capacity for 33 people, beautiful centre, people who had mildly mental health handicap issues and maybe with a little bit of Alzheimer's, people who very much needed somebody else to look after them and care for them and, I suppose, ensure that they were okay in life. And over recent years, little by little, the numbers were whittled down. As I said, it was for 34, we're now down to 12, and now, of course, yesterday, we had the announcement from the HSE West CHO2 area that it was to close. And this has been a bone of contention, particularly since 2016, when at that stage the HSE attempted to close the centre. And the then Minister for Health, our now Taoiseach Leo Varadkar, and Junior Minister Kathleen Lynch gave commitments at that time that this centre would not be closed. Last year, the director we were dealing with, Tony Canavan, called the elected members to a meeting in Roscommon town and told him that it was the intention of the HSE to close this unit. We, I suppose, fought it on many occasions. We rallied with the people to keep it all. I must point out to you, this is a beautiful centre. This is not a run-down building with amazing people who work with it. And I think the one thing that's upsetting people very greatly now is, you know, people who have been here for many, many years, very happy in their surroundings, their families close at hand to visit them. Their centre has been closed. It's their home, Minister. Their home is gone, and many of them feel it. And you can imagine if you moved into a strange room yourself, different colours, different size, no question about being well looked after. I know they'll be well looked after. But the surrounds are going to completely change with these people. The HSE have told us 2 will be moved immediately. Many of them will be moved locally over the next number of months to a local centre, which isn't too far away from this one is. But really and truly, the message from the families and the message from me and the other political people is, please get this decision reversed. This is causing a lot of hurt, a lot of anger. As I said, it's a fantastic centre. The experts will tell us that, these people do not need any psychiatric care anymore. It's different care. It's care to deal with old age or whatever. And I have a huge problem with that. And of course, the Minister, as he said to me today, and you may say, and the experts may say, are you saying that the medical people are wrong? I'm not saying the medical people are wrong. But I'm saying where people are in what is their home for many, many years, I have no doubt when you change that environment, you cause them great distress and pain. So I would appreciate an answer as the best you can give to me on this matter. Thank you.
Obviously, I'm taking this matter on behalf of Minister Jim Daly. From the outset, Minister Daly would like to reassure the Deputy that the current and future care needs of the residents of Rosalie unit has been paramount in all decisions and actions taken by the HSE. The Rosalie unit is located in Castlerea, as you've said, in County Roscommon. It is the continuing care facility for psychiatric and later life patients. There are currently 12 residents in Rosalie unit, and the stated intention of the HSE is to continue to provide care for these residents in line with their identified needs in their individual care plan. The Government committed to and prioritise the reform of our mental health service in line with a vision for change. The strategy sets out a comprehensive policy framework for the development of these services. In line with the strategy and the HSE's position that in an urgent need to improve mental health services in Roscommon, and this was highlighted in the independent review of the services in 2017, which I have already stated. As part of the improvement process and in order to best address the patient's care needs, the residents of the unit have clinical assessment carried out by the HSE consultant-led multidisciplinary team. The clinician's assessment of the residents of Rosalie unit indicated that their care needs had changed since admission to include physical care needs, and their individual future care needs will be best met outside the Rosalie unit. This assessment was reaffirmed by independent clinical assessment specialist, consultant psychiatrist of later life, Dr. James Anderson, who engaged to carry out the assessment of the Rosalie unit residents in December 2018 to determine their clinical needs, dependency levels and optimum care settings. As part of the process, next of kin and relatives of the residents were invited to attend at a clinical assessment so that their views could be taken on board. Independent advocacy was provided to residents and their relatives throughout the clinical assessment process. Dr. Andrews' independent report concluded that at the time of assessment, a number of the patients required inpatient psychiatric care in a different setting, and that the remaining patients required general nursing home care. Individual plans in respect of the future care arrangements of each resident of Rosalie unit will be discussed thoroughly with the residents and their next of kin, in order that the individual's needs can be met in the most comprehensive way and the most appropriate setting. The clinical team and an independent advocate will be available to support them throughout this process. Minister Daly wants to assure the Deputy that the focus has already been on the well-being of the residents throughout this process, and it will remain so. Clinical advice has been independently verified as stated that the current residents' care needs will be best met in a more appropriate setting, and the HSE have the duty to act on this advice. And I'll come back in.
Minister, and yes, you're right to refer to Dr. Anderson's independent report, as it is called, and I should have stated that it was suggested from that independent report that I think it was 2 of the patients require inpatient psychiatric care. The rest of those patients, it was general nursing care. But I have to say, Minister, I go back to the last 2 years, and I was in that centre, and you can have a debate with some of the people in there. And just to bring it down to layman's language and bring it down to brass tacks, you know, when you have one of those people standing at a doorway saying to you, I don't want to move out of here, it brings me fear. It disturbs me, I have to say. And basically what we're doing here is forcing those people out into a different environment. And when I say that, I have no doubt that they will get excellent care. I have no doubt they'll be well looked after. But why change those people out of a place that has, as I've already said, has become their home over so many years? To me, irrespective of what psychiatrists or psychologists tell us, common sense would tell me you don't take people out of there. It's like maybe taking a person from their home who isn't suffering from Alzheimer's or dementia and literally saying to them, you have to go into a nursing home. People don't like being taken out of their own corner in general. And in Roscommon, in the county of Roscommon, Minister, per head of population, we have the highest incidence of Alzheimer's in the country. And again, if you look at the population figures, we're going to have more older people per head of population than any other county. And rather than close any of those facilities, we should be opening them. And rather than getting rid of those 10 patients there, we should be bringing that up to full capacity. Now, the Minister did say to me in a meeting this morning, it will be residential care. So if it's going to remain residential care, why not leave these mainly elderly people there to live out their lives? It is not much to ask. And again, I'm asking you to go back to Minister Daly and Minister Harris and please plead with them to ask the HSE to reverse this decision. I thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you, Deputy Minister.
I'm not familiar with the setting myself, but I take on the concerns and the compassion that has been spoken by Deputy Murphy, and change is very difficult for anybody. It's even more difficult when that person is an older person, and moving, as you said, from an environment where they lived can be very stressful as well. But in reply to the topical issue, I've been given a response, so I have to read it. And however, I will take on board some of the issues that you raised, and particularly around if the service is going to remain here, why isn't patients allowed to remain? But I can't answer that because it's medical. And as said earlier, improving all aspects of policies and service for mental health is a priority under the HSE Plan 2019. This relates to all areas nationally, including Roscommon. Minister Daly would encourage public representatives and the media to take responsible approaches when commenting on the HSE decision to transfer patients currently residing at the Rosalie unit. Roscommon has more appropriate health facilities to better meet their health needs and their care. The Rosalie unit will not close as it is being reported. However, it is highly likely that psychiatric service that is currently provided at the centre will cease in due course, and a new service will be provided to best cater for the health and care needs of the local community based on a demographic evidence. Minister Daly will continue to liaison with the HSE to monitor all aspects of the mental health service care, including health services in Roscommon. And again, just to assure the Deputy, I certainly will bring a very clear message back to Minister Daly, and I apologise again, he can't be here. Thanks.
We move now to the second item, and the names of Deputy Joan Collins and Deputy Cleveland O'Quailon, who wish to address matters in relation to the strike action